Welcome back to the Sin and Tay podcast. We have an interesting episode for you guys today. How are you, Dante?
Oh, I'm so good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What are you drinking? What are you drinking there, are
I'm
you?
drinking a fiber soda, no free endorsement.
Beautiful.
Very
Perfect. There you go.
popular,
Perfect.
popular
Excellent.
soda.
So, we've got an episode today full of little gems that we want to share with you. And we discussed the topic today. So, we've come up with a topic which will be 10 tips that will benefit your long distance relationship. It'll help you grow it, it'll help you maintain it, it'll help you keep it interesting, and all of the above. What do you reckon?
Yeah,
Anything else we need to add to that?
So we gave you Tim. We basically compiled a series of different lists, and we're going to give you guys all the different uh, things on the list and allow you to kind of choose your own and comment on them too of what our opinion is on each item on these lists that have been compiled through a variety of AI sites, our own ideas, and just see how it all coheses and gels together. And then you can create your own list if you're in a long distance relationship, because no two relationships are the same, and you guys will definitely pick and find your favorites off these lists. And I'm gonna just dive right in, and I'm gonna go to what I see number one here on the list that I have is, let's see, I'll pick one of these actually.
Go on.
Yes, perfect. This can be done just through any sort of relationship. But number 10 on this list I have here is pick a TV show or a book to experience together, discussing it after each episode or chapter, or obviously a movie. So you can pretty much hit play at the same time and watch something in real time, which is probably one of our number one go-to items
Yeah,
that we do.
we do. It's like it's a date night as well at the same time. So that's kind of like two in one. We pick movies. We've done some shows as well, which has been really interesting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. We used to do a lot of American Gladiator. I forgot. We haven't
That's
done that for a while.
right. Yeah,
American
we did an American stuff, and that's what we did.
all the American Gladiator, the uh Australian version, and the English
The
versions.
English. I think we watched one episode of an Australian Gladiator, and it was like, turn it off. It was terrible. English was probably the same, if not worse than the Australian, would you say? I reckon that was, and then you guys obviously superior gladiators that you are was a great show to watch.
I don't know what is in the water in America, our attitude, but yeah, we just make good television. What can I
You
say?
know why? You know why though? I think it's that the characters, the gladiators, were interesting on their own, and then it just adds to the show. Because
We got the best athletes in the world here.
anyway, that was a great show. And then there's the movies. So we watch lots of different movies. We've watched a documentary as well, which is something that we've enjoyed.
Yeah,
With the
absolutely.
music one stands out, The Greatest Night in Pop. That was a good one. No endorsement, but it was a great one. It's not meant to be an
Oh
endorsement.
yeah, the one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
actually recommended by World Shakers, a group I'm in. All right, so um, let's see. What's your choice here off your list?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with one that, well, I had date night, but that ends up being what you just shared as well, technically sharing videos. But I like what we've done. This is off script. We take each other into different parts of our city. Like if you're around town and you want to show me around a certain part of where you are, we kind of do like a video call, and you'll show me around like the mall. Or the other day when I went up to my meeting, I called you up from one of our beautiful locations here in Australia, and I showed you the mountains where I was, and just basically just showing people around your neighborhood. I mean, we're such a distance away that it kind of is super important to do that. You remember when you were, I can't remember, you were at one of your jobs and you were like, do you have this store in Australia? Do you have this store in Australia? You
I
basically
remember that.
walked me through the mall, and it was like, I was like, no, we don't have that one. No, we don't have that one. Never heard of that one. So that was pretty fun. It's just keeping it, bringing each other into each other's town, really. Getting
Yeah,
you ready for when you come to us.
yeah, that was I forgot about that one. That's a good one. Uh,
Mm.
that's why I like that we have the list and we're just thinking of. I mean, we have probably over 20 things we could say, but all
We
right.
might
So here,
have bonus ones.
yeah, we're adding bonus ones. So this is definitely something that even will like get a relationship started if you're starting one, and that's regular video messages, leaving little updates about the day for your partner. That's probably one. That's like if I had to like put an asterisk or a star sign next to that, I'd have to say that's probably one of the more important
I love
one.
them.
Yeah, that's one of the ones to really that I think really builds a bond. So you want to definitely
Mm-hmm.
focus on regular video messages, um, pictures. That ties into what she just talked about with taking them through seeing sightseeing, of like, cool things that you're experiencing or things that you might even take for granted that you see every day, but a person cannot see unless they're in your city. So all of those things make it interesting. And then obviously too, like that lends to when you guys either travel to one another city or ultimately, which should be your end game or end goal, is live in the same city together. So if it's either one of the cities that you're currently residing in, then yeah, you definitely want to you want to sell the city like a salesperson. You want to ride around and like a real estate agent and show them the city and talk about how fantastic it is and look at this place and did you know how many vegan restaurants are here and
Sold.
right, right. They got more vegan restaurants per square mile in the world. Like, oh, I never knew that. See, good reason. So you get to be on that
Great.
wavelength.
Yeah, that's
All
good.
right. What's your next one?
Okay, set goals together is my next one.
Mm,
So basically, obviously with long distance relationship there's a lot of talking that happens, conversations and stuff like that, and I think that once you kind of take your time and you really get to know the person and you decide and discover that there really is a potential there for a future, you kind of start setting goals that are not so, they're not fantasy goals either. They're goals of things that can be done, together, or for when you are together, or in the lead up to being together, and just really discuss the goals of things that you want to do. They could be businesses, they could be you know things that you want to do, where you want to live, all that kind of stuff. And it's just setting goals. It kind of gives you also an insight to see if you are on the same page on a lot of things, and if you have the same values and the same ethics around certain parts of the goals that you set. So I think that's a good one. That's what I thought, because we've
yeah,
done that to an extent.
100%. Goals are a good
Mm.
fact finder too of like
Hmm.
knowing if your relationship's in an alignment and if you guys are headed in the same direction because it's difficult the amount of resource that goes into sustaining, obviously this the further the distance the more, but there's obviously more resource that goes into a long distance relationship. So the minute you can start looking at how you can generate like some sort of a way to facilitate that, you're doing it together, and if you're able to do that together, then there's a lot of other things you're able to do together that you definitely want to yeah, that's just a great thing to have a understanding about. Let's see. Looking at this here, some of these kind of tie together as I look at them.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. This is my version of this one, but this is shared this with soundtrack for your relationship, and I think that we haven't necessarily sat and go, these are the songs, but we could do that through obviously. I think the amount of songs we send each other, we probably could do that. I think there's also an Instagram page for the Sin and Tay. Make sure you're following the Sin and Tay Instagram page, and you'll notice that we'll put almost like soundtracks or things that kind of like show the experience that we go through or whatever. um so we like, well, or not the experience, but the photos like from like one of our first meetups, and we put it in a nice, like almost like a music video, like story version type situation. So I think that if you can do stuff like that, where you're creating, and then there's obviously a song to that. So that's like, there's another song we share from a movie that, that just kind of just puts us in like a nostalgic type, at least me, it puts me like a nostalgic type connection,
Mm,
certain
absolutely.
certain energy. So yeah, like yeah, picking songs, yeah, like sending each other songs, that's what I was gonna say. Having a song that like the lyrics are kind of almost like things you want to say, but it's or would like to say, or relates to the circumstance, I think is always cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what music does for all of us in general. But as far as a long distance relationship, when you have those items in place, um, it's good.
Yeah. And put together a playlist with the songs that they send you as
Mhm.
well. So I do that, and I play that playlist separate to my other songs. So some nice songs there.
Oh, you have your own little separate playlist.
Yeah, what you send me, I put into, because you
Ah,
send it, you send it to me on a different platform, which I don't have, right? So
title,
and then
yeah.
I have another. I just go and search them on my one, and then I add them to that little playlist.
Title. Oh, well, there went the mic. Title is title is it felt funny. Um, title is a title is now available on all platforms when you click the link. So you should have the option to pick Spotify. So free
Yeah,
endorsement for title. I've been using it for like 9 years now, but I like title.
yeah.
Can't have
I don't.
can't.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I don't think I ever heard of it before until you started sending it to me on that
Really? See,
platform.
I have
Yeah,
the obscure streaming service. Everyone knows Spotify around the world. So good
yeah.
job on that branding, Spotify. And shouts out to y'all for carrying our podcast and doing the RSS feed.
Absolutely. Okay. So I've got also to ask questions, like ask the questions that you are scared to ask or curious about, and don't be worried about what the other person's answers are going to be, because you really, if you're going to be in a relationship, regardless of whether it's long distance or not, you really need to be able to ask those questions so that what you need to know. If it's a curiosity that you want to satisfy and just ask, you just ask.
Exactly. Yeah,
It allows for a deeper connection, I reckon.
questions are good.
Yeah.
I forgot to
Yeah.
turn my volume down on that. Yeah, questions are definitely good. If you yeah, and it's like, I think when people have apprehensions, like when they're dating and going out in person, and that's kind of that's a secret weapon of meeting a person and speaking to them long distance, is that
Mm.
you can just kind of just get it all, just get it out all on the table if you need to,
Mhm.
and
Also, yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. No, no,
Oh,
go.
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and also too, if you're questioning, like if it's a serious thing that you're looking into, the more questions you ask, the more you know whether or not it's the right person, because you don't want to be surprised about things that you have strong feelings about, and it's just it keeps it open, it keeps it flowing, it keeps things growing. So I think it's super important to ask lots of questions, even the hard ones,
Even the hard ones. Yeah,
especially the hard ones, I think.
especially the hard ones.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Are you keeping track? Because we're just going back and forth.
We're just going back and forth. I think at this point, I think we're at like six.
Six.
I think we've
Okay,
done
let's do
three
that.
each, right? We've done three each, right?
Maybe I'm not keeping track. So yeah, let's do that.
So I want to say I think we're at six.
Okay,
Um,
let's do six.
all right. Let's see. I don't really like anything else I'm seeing on this list. They're pretty corny. Oh wait, here we go. This is what we do. We already know, like we know how many times and when we're gonna see each other. In a span of time.
Yeah.
I think that's super super. I mean, and most people, I think, in a long distance relationship of a certain stature, they if you don't, you got to be realistic with yourself. You can call things a long distance relationship, but if you're not having an end game and you don't say, all right, I know the next time I'm going to see you, it's really not, how serious is that really, that relationship? You know what I mean? Like, so you got to have those scheduled times, meetings. And I think it's important. And I learned this, if you're meeting a person for the first time, and then you've only been like contacting them like on through the internet and through on and you haven't really like had any personal meetings yet, you know having a buffer zone type environment where you either have like other people around where you can leave or at least kind of have that support, I think is important. But in saying that,
Be careful.
yeah, that's
You
what, yeah,
might.
yeah, you really just, yeah, you got to be careful who you're meeting, because you really just, I've had situations where, um, yeah, I definitely, I've been in some long distance stuff. But anyway, I don't want to get carried away. But yeah, and then but the next time that you meet a person, you want to make sure that you have, that you have that time to like really get to know them with the one-on-one and have that, because that's another podcast worrying about stalkers and crazy stuff and all that. We know that's in the world, but the focus here is building a good, healthy relationship. So the thing that you want to have is that time alone, that time away from everything. Maybe the first visit in a neutral area, and then the second visit, maybe you meet in not, you don't go to the other person's city, but you guys meet in another neutral area, but you don't have any sort of um,
Commitments.
responsibilities or commitments or other people that are kind of, it's just all about you guys, and then you just do and that way
Hmm.
you really see how you guys cohese and move together, and then creating those memories and those um yeah, just creating the memories together and
Yeah.
experiences. Yeah, so that was 7.
Great one. That was 7. So I have to take visiting each other off my list now. Um,
uh,
discussing future plans.
yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you can elaborate on visiting.
Well, yeah, but that was basically visiting each other in different areas, not just our homes, which, that'll happen as well. But yeah, I really do like the fact that
What do you
we
see a
met.
benefit of? Yeah, what is the
We met
benefit
the
of?
neutral, yeah, the neutral place where we met initially. It was a good meetup. It was a good place. There was a buffer there, so that was covered. We also had a lot of real talk about, we if we meet, and we'd been talking long enough that we knew that even if it wasn't going to go down the long distance relationship, that we did like each other enough to at least have been friends. So it kind of was.
Yeah,
I felt safe. I felt really safe meeting you. I mean, I would have been shocked if the connection wasn't there when we met, considering the amount of deep and meaningful conversations and real talks that we had about, our past, present, and all of the other stuff. So it was good. But yeah, so you've got that, and you've got to be open minded as well, and realize that it's not the fantasy that you make out in your head all the time. You've got to really be realistic about a lot of things. So we did that before we met, and we just continued to do that while we were together, which was great. Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was your next
So,
one you were about to say?
so my one was um, discuss future plans. Like, discuss the discussions that you need to have about the future plans that you are putting into place, are super important, because if you don't, the way one of us, like the way one partner will be thinking things are going to be versus the way the other person's envisioning it to be, might not be completely aligned or on the same timeline. So the discussions are what you really need, because you need to either adjust them and fit so that we're all happy, or because it's not feasible for you to just have this idea of how it's going to be in your head and not discuss it and be on the same page as the other person.
So communicate. Yeah, communication is key.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Communication is kind of really broad, because communication kind of feeds into the honesty and the trust, and it feeds into, keeping lines of communication open. But in regards to future plans specifically, I think that that's really important to make sure that you discuss, question, ask things, clarify if things aren't clear, and it just makes it so much smoother and easier to continue on the right track.
Yeah. And I'm glancing over at the list as you share that, and I'm looking and I see maintain independence, keep your own hobbies and interests to avoid isolating yourself.
Absolutely. That was on my list too.
That was on your list?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was on my list.
yeah, and we talked about it in one episode about codependency and creating this
Mm,
codependency through, a lot of ways that it could happen in a long
yeah,
distance relationship, and it lends to a certain personality type or disposition of persons, and if they end up kind of in a long distance relationship because there's maybe some blocks or apprehensions about truly getting into a real deal relationship because they don't want the responsibility, or there's some sort of um subconscious thing that's preventing them from wanting to be, in that, and then
mm,
it's a comfortable safe space. But it's definitely important as far as in our situation. I think the point of maintaining the independence is like, you know, obviously, like I have a acting career, so that is like a big priority. That's something that always comes first, and it just is a part of it. Cindy has a lot of things she's a part of in the mindfulness community as far as
absolutely.
in business. Has a Reiki business. She has a sound healing business. And these are completely, independent of each other. However, we do figure out ways of how, when we do live together, how we can utilize these things as bonuses or pluses, our independent abilities, our own personal thing. We talk about things we're going to do together and businesses we'll build together. And then we also have our separate things that obviously that we'll continue to maintain. I'm not going to expect Cindy to come over to the acting business or start taking acting class or anything like that. And I don't think I'll be getting certified on sound bowls anytime soon, so that's going to be her thing, which I fully 100% support. And then my thing will be my thing. And people have to have their things, and they have to take time out for themselves to do their thing, especially if it's a business venture or a something monetary money is involved, basically.
Yes. Perfectly leading into my one, which is support each other's interests.
Mm,
So basically, we do a lot of that. You really do encourage a lot of the stuff that I say I want to do and I act towards doing. In regards to your acting as well, you share a lot of that stuff with me, conversations about, things that you want to do. And the whole supporting the other person is super important as well. You don't have to jump into that world. Like I don't have to jump into the acting world. I mean, I find it amazing and interesting and I love the art, but it's the support for the person. You might be 100 miles, 10,000 miles away, but at least being in support, checking in, asking questions, how's it going, all that kind of stuff, it kind of does make you a part of it as well. So I think that the support of those individual hobbies and qualities that we keep is super important. That's my
yeah,
other one.
that's your
Yeah.
and this is number 10 right here. And it just talks about it's just trust each other, and it's not just like I trust that you're doing whatever. It's not that necessarily even that trust. It's trust that what the person is doing, what the person has done up to this point to get themselves where they are at, continue to nurture that, continue to back that up and support it. Don't try to pull them away, or I think you can do better. I think I see better for you. I see this for you. Because whatever, period of time that's passed since they've gotten to the point that they're at, minus the small amount of time they've known you, what they've been doing has been working for them, right? Or they've
Hmm.
grown into. So you wedging yourself into that and acting as if, you're some sort of authority, is an undermine, so you want to trust what the person is doing and trust their decision making. And if you start to second guess that, then maybe you're not in the right set of circumstance for what it is that you're trying to pull off. So it's like that's a big deal. um and then have a positive attitude. Always focus on the good aspects of the relationship. Don't get into situations where you're sharing too much with people about it and you're projecting too much of the energy, because you need that energy um kept
Yes.
contained for what it requires to sustain and continue on the path with that individual. If you're spreading the energy out everywhere and projecting out your beliefs or your experiences in this, then you don't really have anything. You're going to diminish down the quality that you're able to show up for the person that you're even talking about. So you want to really maintain a positive, focused, contained um, set of energy base, so that when you do come in contact with the person that you're dating in the long distance, and you see them, those things are kind of sacred items that you guys share between each other. Not that people can't be a part of and be privy to
Mm,
information, but the closer that it's just like with celebrities. um you know the less attention that most couples, like Denzel Washington, his wife is not all over the media with him all the time. You know,
right.
she shows up to the big events. He's not at the crazy parties. You don't hear his name in the mix. They've been married for 30 years in the business, right? In an industry, in a place where people just don't last that long.
Mm,
So the point is just, keep what you have for you guys. Don't allow just everyone in all the time about it, because people have a tendency to project and cast their doubts and their negativity into your circumstance. And that might be conscious, where they're speaking to you negatively, or they're triggered and they're telling you about their experience of, and their experience has become their reality of what a long distance relationship. So they may project their bad experience into your situation.
absolutely.
So that was about three things wrapped into number 10. But,
But I don't actually think that was number 10, because you started it off, so it couldn't be number 10 if you started it off, because you
they
would have
can't.
been one. No, you were one.
All right, well, then that was nine. Well, we're going to go back and watch and count. You guys got about 12 to 15 tips here.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And also to just really be grateful. That's it. Just show gratitude all the time for each other, and the commitments, and acknowledge when people do things that are awesome and amazing. They don't have to be big things, but being mindful, and really just being a support for the other person is important. So let's just nurture it all. And that point that you made, is keep a little bit of that magic to yourself is important too.
yeah, 100%,
Mhm.
100%. Because, like, yeah, I could elaborate. Well, that's a whole nother
That's a whole other
episode
episode, that one.
by
Yeah,
itself. So,
yeah,
yeah. So,
that's good.
So last thing, let's see. Yeah, stay positive, and I'll add this in, and then yeah, just be understanding. Time zones are different. And be mindful. Like, just because the person is willing to stay on the phone doesn't mean you should be on the phone.
Have a
And
curfew.
yeah, set curfews, set limits on how you spend time. You don't have to
Yeah,
be on the phone all the time, all day. It's going to happen regardless if you guys are definitely connected. But I'm saying, and that's how what we did. Oh, last tip. That's what we decided to do with our time. Instead of just watching movie, we could be watching a movie right now. At this time of day, I could take some time away,
yeah.
or we could be creating content and bringing value to the people, and they can actually pull this up now online, take a look at this, get some tips, get some inspiration, be inspired by our connection, and get something of value. You know what I mean? Contributing something. You know what I mean? Of something of value to society, as a just sitting in our corners of the internet and just using
Mm,
technology for our own personal, you know, um, device, needs. So yeah, like I said, do a podcast, start a YouTube page together, start a vlog together. There's so many different ideas that I can think of.
yeah.
You know, and if you'd like to talk to me about them, feel free to hit me up on Dante Lives 13 and Instagram, and we can talk. I give you some more ideas about what you can do, you know, or excuse me, hit me up on the Sin and Tay Instagram page. So it's sin_n_tay. And then you can hit me up there and we can talk about, you know, some ideas that you can do as a couple to, you know, facilitate income. Podcast necessarily isn't going to just bring us all this money right away, or if ever, but at least it's bringing something of it. What it brings to me is it brings fulfillment in the essence that I know I'm creating something to be the difference in somebody, in a couple's life experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. And don't talk yourself out of that. Whatever idea you have, because like we were saying there's so many podcasts out there, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to do it because there's so many out there, because you can always bring a certain kind of value that other people may not have. So don't be scared to try it. What's the worst that can happen? You
Are
have
you,
some fun creating stuff.
oh, you mean that little voice that it's like,
The
oh,
voice.
there's a million podcasts out there. There's this, there's that. It's
Who's going to
and you
listen
know,
to yours?
yeah, exactly. There's already 100 million, whatever. Anyway, again, if
Yeah.
you want more advice on mindset, attitude, and how to approach this stuff, you can look either one of us up. We're definitely real helpful in that space of just having a proper mindset and growth mindset belief system. So yeah, hope you guys got a ton of value, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. And you definitely want to start tuning in, because we're going to have a change of scenery, a change of circumstances for a nice few episodes for you guys. So you definitely, even if you want to tune in just for the view, you want to tune in to episode 5, and it's a surprise.
Yes. Can I just say too, before you go, if anyone is interested in Reiki, sound healing, or guided meditation, I can do online. You can find me at Kindred Rejuvenation on Instagram and Facebook, but Instagram mainly. Yeah, and that's it. My personal Instagram page is not a Soulful Hippie, if you want that too. It's got a lot of content on there that I share with everyone. That's it.
And definitely check out Be Grateful and Golden at the Etsy store and get your grateful. I don't have a grateful hat on right now. I got an Aspire hat. But you definitely get those hats, tank tops, t-shirts, yoga pants,
Perfect.
long sleeves, hoodies, is anything your heart could desire. And right now, I think it's like not even $10 for a grateful is gratitude is magic shirt. So go get one. Support the mission, the vision, the dream. Us meeting each other in the same scene. So glad you came.
Bye.